Who are you looking forward to seeing on the red carpet?
Hello, I would like to see Kendall Jenner or maybe Kim Kardashian.
It doesn't really matter. I'm just here for the atmosphere and to be in Cannes.
Who would you most like to see on the red carpet?
Brad Pitt, Spike Lee,
Isabelle Huppert.
Beyoncé, Nicolas Cage.
I've heard that Guillaume Canet will pass, maybe. That would be interesting.
Penelope Cruz was very, very beautiful. I would like to see her again.
Jane Fonda,
Angelina Jolie or Leonardo DiCaprio.
My guest today has seen a great deal of red carpet premieres. She's in Cannes to promote a documentary about her life and her new film, Book Club. Let's go and meet the Oscar-winning actress, activist and fitness guru, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda, hello.
Hello.
You're here at the Cannes Film Festival with your documentary, Jane Fonda in 5 Acts. It's split into the men who've had an impact on you. What were you least looking forward to revisiting when you did the film?
Well, I've written my memoir. I've covered just about everything in my past, so there wasn't anything that I was not looking forward to. Susan Lacey, who directed it, is very talented, and I enjoyed working with her, and I just wanted to be honest. If you're going to have a documentary made about yourself, what's the point unless you're telling the truth, which isn't always pretty, but I was prepared for that.
The final act is called Jane. Does that mean that now you're complete and whole on your own?
I feel like I'm still a work in progress, but yes, I feel like I'm standing on my own 2 feet and I'm not trying to please anybody else. I'm just trying to be my best self as best I can.
There's a lot in the movie about your evolution as a political activist, starting with the Vietnam War. What do you think is the biggest issue facing our world today?
Survival. There's a real question about whether we're going to survive as a species. You know, everyone talks about all the species that are going extinct, but if climate change continues, I think there's a real question about whether we'll survive. And next to that, it's will we survive with a civil society, a democratic society? I think that's really in danger, not just in the United States, but in many countries.
You're also here with your new film, Book Club. It's about 4 friends who read 50 Shades of Grey, and it changes their lives.
Hi, beautiful friends. I would like to introduce you to Christian Grey.
Oh, no. We started this book club to stimulate our minds.
From what I hear, this book is quite stimulating.
Oh, wow.
Had you read the books before you did the film?
I read the book when it first came out. I'm glad it was written. I think that, you know, I think that it inspired and woke up many women in the United States.
You recently turned 18. You're getting some fabulous roles. Grace and Frankie is a fantastic TV series. It's had a lot of success. Why do you think it has been so successful?
Well, I think it's a movie that doesn't cause you to feel anxious. It's funny. It makes you kind of feel good, and yet it still tackles important issues that face older women. But I think mostly people enjoy seeing me and Lily Tomlin playing together. We're friends. We love each other. That comes across. And, you know, in these days, it's nice to have something that's just, it's easy and fun, and yet it also touches the heart.
So, did you sign up for that dating site I signed you up for?
Yes, and oddly enough, I didn't find the love of my life on hippieroundup.com.
Hey, hon. Who's that?
Cherie. She's been doing my nails for 20 years.
Can I give you a hug? It's a good thing I'm not allergic to rhinestones.
Oh, that is a good thing.
What the hell is going on here?
This is a time when the movie business is under intense scrutiny for sexism, but also ageism. Do you think things are changing now?
I think they're beginning to change. I think the Time's Up and Me Too movements are very meaningful. I think it's causing studio heads and producers to think twice about how they, not only how they hire and who they hire, but how people are treated once they're hired. I think it's very important that men and women begin to be paid equally for equal work. And because when women earn the appropriate amount of money and are on a par with men, they tend not to be treated with disrespect and violence.
Were you always paid the same as your male counterparts?
No, I wasn't. But way back then, it never occurred to us to even ask. You know, I made 3 movies with Robert Redford. I can guarantee you he was always paid more. But I sort of thought, well, he's Robert Redford. He deserves more.
Throughout your career, you've never shied away from speaking your mind. But you hesitated about calling yourself a feminist and from speaking out about the power imbalance in Hollywood. What held you back?
It took me a long time to identify as a feminist because I kind of grew up thinking my role was to please men. And I thought that being a feminist meant that you had to be against men. Now that I've realized that it's quite the opposite, feminism benefits men as well as women. Also, when I started my career in the late 50s, early 60s, women were good. We were good girls, good people. We didn't rock the boat. At least I didn't. I wasn't brave enough. I didn't know enough. And I was also in marriages that would have been disturbed if I had become a feminist. And I'm what's called a late bloomer, but it's okay to be a late bloomer as long as you don't miss the flower show.
And you were in Cannes a few years ago with a lovely movie, Youth, starring Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel. And you recently starred alongside Robert Redford again in Our Souls at Night. He's someone you said you've acted with several times and very early in your career in Barefoot in the Park. What was it like coming back together again as an on-screen couple?
It was fun and it was appropriate. And I think we were paid the same this time. It was a lot of fun.
You're also a fitness guru, and just a few years ago you did another video. You sold millions with your fitness videos. Why do you think they conquered the world?
Well, before then, women weren't supposed to have muscles. Women weren't supposed to be strong. And I think they were very effective. They really worked. They changed women's bodies, but even more important, they changed women's minds. It wasn't just about the outside. It was the inside. You know, Thomas Jefferson said, revolutions begin in the muscle. So I feel it was kind of revolutionary.
You studied art in Paris when you were a student. Your first husband was the French director Roger Vadim. You've been in 2 French movies, one directed by Jean-Luc Godard. On peut parler en français?
Oui, plus ou moins, oui.
Pour vous, Cannes, c'est quoi?
Cannes, c'est le glamour, exciting movies, challenging movies. You know, back in the day when I first came here, which was in the 60s, it was not so much about clothing and jewelry and things like that. It was all about the movies. You know, now it's become, you know, much more glamorous and less focused on movies. I liked the focus on the movies, personally.
Okay. Jane Fonda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you're getting with it.